Welcome everybody to the EPIC session. Hoping people have not got sound issues and any technical restrictions have been ironed out for the first couple of hours this morning. Right, I'm conscious of time as people are still being admitted, so I'm just going to share my screen with you, just to give you a flavour of what we're going to be talking about in the next hour and a quarter. So welcome everybody. If you think you should be here, this is the equitable based placed health and care theme at today's ARCFEST. I've just quickly entered the email address for the guys and girls at LiveWorks. If you've got any tech issues, then drop them an email. I'm assuming that everyone's been sorted out now, but just in case you have, that's the email to contact them in. For people who don't know me, my name is Paula Wheeler and I'm the EPIC theme manager. I'm part of a small team of researchers and admin support, and we're all, in normal times, based in Lancaster University. So here is a bit of an overview of what we're planning to update and talk to you about today. As I've said, we've got an hour and a quarter, so time's really quite tight, but we do want to offer some opportunities for some dialogue, discussion and chat. So we will be holding some breakout sessions as part of our presentations on our research. I'll shortly be handing over to our theme lead, Catherine Walsh, who will give a basically formal introduction to the EPIC approach to applied health research. That'll then be followed by Hilary Garner and Ginger Liu, recently recruited public advisor co-leads to the theme, who will share their experience and insight of being involved as part of the EPIC work since January. So some useful and helpful insight from that, I hope. From 12 o'clock, you will hear from my colleagues Fiona Ward and Emma Halliday, and they'll be speaking to you about two pieces of work that we're leading on, one in relation to air quality and one in relation to a project that relates to the BCFSE sector and how that is being engaged with and collaborated with as part of an emerging model of integrated health and care. Last but not least, my colleague Annabelle Edwards, who is the North West Coast Stakeholder and Engagement Manager, will be updating on the CoLead network. Some of you will be aware about the Community Research and Engagement Network that has been in development and in operation since Clark. And Annie will relay some ideas that she and colleagues have had around how we connect communities and researchers into local places to really embed that co-production and collaborative approach to applied health research. So quite a lot to fit in. So basically, following Catherine's introduction, the three sessions from Emma, Fiona and Annie will basically take the format of a 10-minute presentation. And we were really quite conscious that even just partway through the ARCFEST, we don't want to overkill you with PowerPoint presentations. So we will be offering opportunities to participate in chat in relation to a breakout rooms. So there'll be approximately 8 minutes and there'll be one of them for each of the three presentations. There will then, hopefully, time permitting, will be a rapid 2 minutes if anybody wants to share any comments or has any burning questions that they may want to ask. Obviously, there will be opportunities to post any questions in chat, and thankfully through Sam and his colleagues at LiveWorks, we've now been able to have the ability to post questions in the chat in Zoom. So if anybody's got any questions, please post them in the chat. We will also be moving from feed loop chat and Zoom chat, so it doesn't matter where you put your question, we've got colleagues in the team who will be looking and trying to answer them in real time. If you've got any queries post-session about anything you've heard, then if you make contact with us through the EPIC Inquiries email, and we'll be back in touch with you. So in the breakout room chat, as I've said, it'll be 8 minutes, so there will be opportunities to share and talk about what you've heard. We want to listen and gauge about what you've thought about what you've heard. We want you to consider possibly the implications on your organisation, your practice or your community about the things you've heard about the research that we're leading on. And just as important, or perhaps more importantly, we want you to have some thoughts about implications for the research and the projects that you've been listening about and how it might address health inequalities. Just a couple of final points. I mean, this is, you know, we get this every time. Please try and remember to keep your microphones on mute when people are talking or when the presentations are being presented. Obviously take them off for the breakout rooms because we want to hear what you've got to say. And all the recordings and the presentations will be made live on the ARC Northwest Coast website and will be made available through our EPIC pages. So thanks everyone, enjoy the session. Sam, can you play Catherine's presentation, please? Thanks.
Hi, I'm Catherine Walsh. Welcome to our ARCFEST meeting for the Equitable Place-Based Health and Care theme. And I'm delighted to welcome you to our session today. And I'm going to kick us off first with a little bit about our approach to applied health research. So in terms of our theme and an overview, we have a focus supporting place-based approaches, addressing health inequalities, and our vision is to support those local systems aiming to integrate health and care so that they're able to operate responsively to the needs of people, community, and place. I'm going to explain just very briefly the 4 elements that we think are important as part of that. The first element is place. It could be a specific geography, for example, a specific local authority area or a town, or it could be a particular setting, such as a prison or a school. And I think we have to remember that the Northwest Coast area that we serve is very variable, a huge geographical area, lots of different settings and communities. And here we have some examples from Preston to Lancaster, chosen of course because it was a prison in the past, and of course Blackpool. We also have to think about the social determinants of health. And by this we mean thinking very much more broadly than just individual lifestyle behaviours, which is often the way that we think about health. We think about what we eat, what we exercise, the diseases that we might have. But here we're thinking much more broadly, thinking about our environment, where we live, our housing, where we go to school, the communities that surround us. We also have a real focus on collaborations and valuing that partnership working and understanding those local systems. And again, you know, here are some examples of some of the local councils, but of course, our partnership is not just with those local authorities and councils, it's with the NHS, it's with voluntary services, it's with local organisations. All of these are important in our place-based approaches. And finally, we think about communities and focus on involving and the influence of those local people and communities, and thinking about how they can support those improvements to population health. And again, remembering that across our Northwest Coast, those communities are very different and very variable, right from the extremely rural areas of the Lake District, for example, to inner city Liverpool. All are part of Northwest Coast, all are equally important, and we have to think about those when we're thinking about our place-based approaches to health. So I think you're in for a treat today, and the next session following on from me actually is again thinking about that real importance of that community and public involvement with Hilary and Ginger, our public advisor leads and co-leads, talking about their role in the EPIC theme so far. We're then moving on to some of the research highlights, and we've got 3 of those. We've got people talking about some of our air quality research, about our voluntary and community sector work, and about some of the networking capabilities with our community research and engagement network. And with each of those, there's going to be a presentation and then a short time in a breakout group for you to discuss and ask questions and think about the impact of some of that research. So enjoy, and I look forward to meeting and talking with some of you during the ARCFEST today.
Thanks, Catherine. Hilary, I mean, I think it's fair to say just before you start, Hilary, as Catherine and others through other theme conversations today will have mentioned and talked about, it really is a fantastic USP that we have in our North West Coast about the role of public involvement and public advisors. They're involved in everything from research design to questions to doing systematic reviews, and a new sort of opportunity for them has arisen through this co-lead role. So all ARC themes at the minute have 2 co-leads that are attached to each theme. So Hilary and Ginger now are just going to give you some reflections and insights from their experience today of working with the EPIC theme. Thanks, Hilary.
Thanks very much, Paula. I'm sorry if I'm a bit croaky, but I've just beaten my own record of not speaking for about 2.5 hours. This is unheard of, as everybody here knows. So thank you, everybody, for letting me introduce myself and my work as Public Advisor Co-Lead for the EPIC theme today. I've been a public advisor since 2016, and I came to the role after many years as an unpaid carer to several family members, most with diverse and complex health and care needs. I've delivered their care in various places, including their own homes, living here with me, in transition through into residential care and into independent living. It's my belief that the role of a public advisor is to bring the outside voice of those that might not often be heard into the inner workings of the research world. And the co-lead role puts that voice right at the heart of the development of any research programmes within the ARC. So how has that voice manifested itself since I took up the role in February? Well, from the outset, the EPIC team have demonstrated an encouraging, inclusive and welcoming approach. And Ginger and I both feel we've been fully embedded as members of the team. See, voice going there. We've an example of how we've been incorporated into the team is that we have a standing innovation to team meetings every week, and to contribute and to the ongoing work of the theme wherever needed. Now, that could all sound quite cosy and fuzzy, but it isn't, because what the team have also done is they've supported us and empowered us to speak up and to challenge wherever necessary. And that has been very valuable. The voice of the public advisor is one of supportive questioning, but it is also of challenge. So this empowerment by the team has been really, I think, quite fundamental. Because this is a new role, it's in the making, as it were. There isn't one we made earlier or anything oven ready. So it is developing organically. And it's therefore really important that we continuously monitor, evaluate and improve upon all our practices and processes. And I see my role very much as striving and driving towards the continuous improvement of public involvement in the theme. A fundamental element of that must be the ever-present awareness of health inequalities and how we assess and address these within any piece of work that's conducted within the theme. For people who've never worked with public contributors before, that can be about helping them, informing them, enabling them. But for more experienced colleagues, it can just sometimes be simply reminding them or questioning, and again, sometimes challenging and interrogating their work. To further embed public involvement in the EPIC theme, we've been proactive in framing the recruitment processes for public advisors to the theme. And we've done that from initial advertisement through to appointment. In the spirit of continuous improvement, this is now being evaluated and reviewed and amended for each new appointment, the opportunity that comes up. we've adopted a mentorship role and an advocacy role, and we've been involved in learning from and offering support to public advisors who are already working within the theme. I've also partnered up with a new advisor as part of the ARC-wide buddy scheme. And recently I've recruited another new advisor for the ARC from here in Burnley. There's an educational and sort of ambassadorial facet to the role as well. And since February, I've been involved in presenting and representing the ARC and the theme at 2 national events. One was an NIHR workshop around COVID, and the other was as a public contributor to the Goldacre NHS data review, and then feeding that back to the team. I take any opportunity I can to promote public involvement, and I tend to bang on about the ARC North West Coast to anybody who will listen. And this has also involved me then in feeding back to relevant and useful organisations, shall we say, that I'm linked with. And finally, before I pass over to Ginger, to outline, she's going to outline more specific elements of what we've been doing. I tend to steal quotes quite shamelessly from anywhere I can get them. So being true to form, I'm going to put my own spin on a phrase I stole earlier. Public involvement within the EPIC theme and the ARC is embedded, as it should be, like the words going through a stick of Blackpool rock. Thanks very much.
Apologies there, my mouse decided to go AWOL and wasn't working. Thanks very much for that, Hilary. Over to Ginger.
Hello, my name is Ginger Lou. I am a public advisor and the new ARC North West Coast Deputy Co-Lead for the EPIC theme. My involvement as a public advisor began after a dementia workshop at Liverpool Museum's House of Memories when I was a full-time carer for my mother who was living with Alzheimer's disease. My everyday experience of social care and social prescribing from a patient and carer point of view encouraged me to develop a more active role through public involvement. The EPIC group has opened its arms to myself and the co-lead and has given us full reign of our roles, and we are truly part of a team of amazing researchers. I am contributing to the social prescribing and air quality research projects. Our work involves active monitoring and communication, assisting with research and draft written submissions, attending meetings to share news from subgroups, raising the profile of ARC and EPIC, and providing general support. I have been involved in the recruitment and selection process for PA roles and research projects. Myself and the team have received specialist training through the Collaborative Out Loud Mindset training program and ongoing monthly PA lead training together with the co-leads and deputies from other themes. I have also been given honorary research status at Lancaster University to support my role. So this is just the beginning of my deputy co-lead role, and I'm excited to be involved in this theme over the next few years. This is great. Great, guys. This was great.